If you don't like it, I don't like it. If you thought to call me, I definitely don't like it. I will pull it, and then we'll settle this later.
You have fixed costs, right? And you've got to keep that.
Correct. There's another 5 or 6 guys I don't get along with that we know.
But you can't be a slave to that phone the whole time.
Correct.
So that's why we do like the online. So how many dumpsters do you have right now?
Do I own 46?
46.
Yep.
And what percentage of those are 30s?
We have 15 30-yarders.
15, 30 yarders.
Yep.
Are they all rented right now?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one that he's using to play leapfrog with today. So at the end of the day, we will have one. But other than that, they're all long-term job site provision of some sort.
So you're all long-term. You're not moving them as much typically?
I shouldn't say long-term. I use that freely. They're all job site provision of some sort of retail. Most of them are retail rehab.
Okay.
The longest one we've got right now is we're up at Hobart Arena in Troy. They're doing like 600,000 square feet of roof. So we've been there for 3 months, 2 months, because they're doing it in stages. Other than that, we're moving them every couple days.
So when you do those jobs, because it's just not the way that we have our business plan right now, but will you leave them out there and just say, here's a month rental on this one? Mm-hmm. And then are you guaranteed pulls from it, or how do you work yours?
Depends. They're all different. So we've kind of broke into that market in the last year or so, and that took some variables, and that's why I said you need the salad bar, because the profit margin in those are way lower. It's guaranteed, but the profit margin's lower. So my encouragement to anyone that is small, I'm small, be careful how much of your inventory that you're going to say, I don't need this money. Because, for instance, a 30-yard, we had one that we bid yesterday, an invitation email. It was a permanent 30-yard 2-year contract. They wanted it pulled once a month. I'm like, come on, guys, that hurts. It was going to be like $900 a month. I'm like, that dumpster to me is worth $550 a day on the street, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So my encouragement to anybody that's small, as much as that hurts, don't take it. That's why I said you don't need every contract, because if you let go of that dumpster is going to take 3 years just to pay for itself in that setting, versus I can pay a dumpster off in 3 weeks on the street. You know, when we're doing commercial rehab, and you can pull that thing 3 times in 2 days, see that dumpster 3 times in 2 days, it's a very different story.
Yep.
So, but yes, to answer your question, it's a minute amount of. We charge a week-long rental, and then it's $12 a day in our market, and that's on the high side. No matter how long you want it for, indefinitely, till we flip it. And then when we flip it, it starts over.
Well, I'll tell you what, when it comes to what we're doing, is I'm looking at the weather, because I'm like, if I set it there, I'm not going to be able to
I'm not dropping this on a Friday and come back on a Monday knowing it's going to rain all weekend.
And it's going to sink, and I'm going to be stuck, and then I got a truck that I can't. Okay. So I didn't even think about it from that concept of, you know what, it was just sitting there for a while until we can get to it.
Yeah, because there's 90 other ones in that.
Because I look around at some of these, I don't see any bulldozers. I don't see anything that's gonna
get you out.
Out if you're stuck.
Agreed.
And so we've been around long enough to know those are the first things that we think of.
When your truck weighs 30,000 pounds without anything on it, I'm not touching that grass.
Exactly.
I don't even turn around in my own yard.
Right.
I'm not touching my own grass because I know I'm going down.
I mean, we'll do that a lot. I'm lucky to have good drivers now, and I don't know how seasoned your drivers are with you, but I tell them, just make the call.
We've got it written all over our paperwork. The driver has discretion to refuse the load, to modify the placement. It's up at the end of the day. It's our call.
Right.
Because of that, I'm not there. I can give you my opinion, but I'm not there. You're the one stepping in the grass and seeing how soft it is. If you don't like it, I don't like it. If you thought to call me, I definitely don't like it. That's the dumbest way I know to put it, just being the biggest little guy that you can, because I don't want to lose that. When I'm communicating with a customer, I don't want it to just be me, but when we as a company are communicating with the customer, I want to hear that I felt like I was the only customer. Yeah. I mean, that was like mind blowing to me. I was like, that is stupid cool. That is stupid cool. Like you just made my year. Yeah. You know, and we were that I felt like we were neglecting them on my standard. It was a messy job, and it was an Amazon job, and Amazon makes their own. We weren't working for Amazon as a contractor, and Amazon makes their own rules and breaks their own rules all the time. So I mean, like, you never know till you show up what kind of a mood, which facility you're at, the crap that you're gonna deal with, and we were dealing with some real crap there. So I mean, we were modifying off the back of our, you got the idea that you're like hanging off the back of the train, yanking along yourself. I felt like that, and they were like, we felt like we were the only. I was like, that's really cool. Yeah. But that's my goal, is to make everybody feel like they're the only customer. and I don't want to outgrow that. I want to find that threshold. We're not there yet by any means, but I don't want to get past that to where we're just a switchboard. Because what's the difference between us and the big guy at that point? If it's just a switchboard, we're one of 10 providers in town. Who's going to get the call?
Right.
I want them to say, we're calling you because.
Right.
And that's the standard that we want to keep. When we meet that threshold, maybe it's a different story at that point, but till then, that's our overall goal, is just to keep that small company feel. When you call in, when you have a project going with us, that's our goal.
Do you have any plans for growth in 2026?
Yeah, so we need to add another, we need to get rid of one of our, we don't have enough tandem trucks right now. We have one tandem truck and two single axles. We need to reverse that. From what I've learned, a truck in general can only take care of about 20 dumpsters. 15 to 20. Depending on what you're doing with them. And we're at our threshold right now. So typically my goal is I set the route, I drive the truck till we can get it full time, we put a driver in it, and then I go back to square one. So my goal in 2026 is to buy another truck, get another route going, get enough dumpsters to get a driver in there and put a driver in that one.
Running a dumpster company isn't for the faint of heart. It's long hours, juggling drivers, chasing payments, all while trying to keep the next job on track. I'm Todd, owner of Pack Mule Dumpster Rentals. Trust me, I've lived every headache you're dealing with right now. That's why we built Bin Boss. It's more than software, it's a system that makes your dumpster business run like a machine. So you can handle more jobs without more trucks, let customers book online anytime, keep them happy with real timelines, and finally get invoices out before they collect dust. We haul too, and that's why this works. You want to see how it can transform your business? Bet on yourself with Bin Boss and book a demo today.
So what size will you go with? Like, we got some Kenworth, we have two of the T880s. Are you going that big? Or
yeah, we've got a medium duty tandem right now. I would like to get a heavy duty with a tag axle. We do not have tag axles right now. I'm not leery of going into 40s, but when I cross that bridge into 40s, my goal is to say I can pull it and charge you for it no matter what. I will pull it and then we'll settle this later. Yeah. I don't want to be in a situation which we were with the single axle trucks where, should I pull this? Can I pull this? Yes. Should I pull this? No.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We've all been overweight. We haven't. Bull crap. Bull crap. I found out. I've not found out the limit on that big truck yet. I've amazed myself with what it will pull.
Yeah.
And got myself into a pickle with how much it'll pull. Same thing with our little truck. So the goal is to always be in front of what you're capable of hauling, in my opinion, to deliver a quality product. So before we cross that threshold into 40s, I feel like we need to buy a truck with a tandem on it so that we're in front of that.
And when we made our purchase earlier this year, that was one of the things that we looked at. We're able to pull 52,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Not that I want to.
Yeah.
But we can.
Whereas my threshold is 36,000. So
which you still probably haven't encountered too much stuff that you couldn't yank.
Should I yank? Or could I yank?
Yeah. You could, I guess.
So that's the thing is, can we get ourselves out of a pickle? Yes.
With some of our driveway dumpsters, we've gotten in positions where we just couldn't lift them.
Yeah, and
that was one of the things that we thought of when we went with the 30s.
And that's my thing is like, I want to be able to say, oh, I'll build the crap out of you later for it, but the dumpster's going with me either way. Not, get something out here and get this out.
Yeah.
That's my thing is because then we end up with damaged dumpsters and the dumpster sat for another 3 weeks while they came up with a solution. No, we'll pull the dumpster, we will bill you for it, and we're going to move on with our day.
Yep.
Sorry for the overweight. That's a you problem, not a me problem. We out.
Yeah. We had no idea it was overweight.
Yeah, bull crap.
You didn't know that
when you were dumping sand in there.
Exactly.
And the worst one with that, we dropped a 20-yard off before we had tandems to a gentleman that we talked through with this. They were sandblasting fuel tanks at the airport. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how much sand did you have delivered? 46,000 pounds. I said, okay, so we need 4 dumpsters.
Right.
Okay.
Don't fill them all the way up.
Yeah. And I was like, so they get it by the pallet. I'm like, you've got a pallet. Divide this up evenly between 4 dumpsters. 6 weeks later, he called me and said, we're done with the job. I said, we never did a swap. What up? We're done. I went out there. It was all in one dumpster. It was a brand new dumpster. This is the first time I've been deployed. The feet were folded on it. It was sunk 6 inches into the mud, and it was heaping with sand. And I'm like, and it had rained. I was like, so there's literally like 70,000 pounds in my dumpster right now. And he's like, well, we got to be out of this job site tomorrow. And I was like, that's a you problem. I was like, this is not, this is not even something we can talk about. My driver went out there. He's like, I can't get this dumpster up on the truck. And I'm like, what's in it? And he told me, I was like, wait a minute. So I called the guy. I said, you guys put all, he's like, yeah. I said, we talked about this.
We discussed this.
Yeah, like legitly, we had a plan. I said, I thought we were coming out to do a swap. He goes, no, we're done. We have to be off this job tomorrow. And I was like,
what happened to the plan?
We ended up renting an excavator, driving out there with 3 other dumpsters, offloading it, billing them for everything, and then we billed them for the damage on our dumpster too. Because I mean, like I said, it was a brand. I mean, like it was still shiny. I was like, dude, you can smell the paint on it. It still smells new.
And did they pay it?
Oh, they did, yeah. Because they had to be off the job site. I was like, I will do all this, but you're paying for it. So we billed them for the other 3 dumpsters. We billed them for the damage. We billed them for the. But I didn't. I mean, like that's not what I want to spend my day doing.
No.
Versus saying, you know what, forget it. We're gonna bring a bigger truck out here. We'll bill you for the second run. We'll bill you for the overweight. And next time, if you do it again, we'll do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy to have you back. My goal is always to be ahead of what we're getting into that way. If I'm going to offer 40-yard dumpsters, I want to be able to pick 40-yard dumpsters up.
Right.
So the goal would be to get a truck with a tag axle before we cross that line.
I don't know, how many drivers do you have?
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yep.
Keeping them busy though. I mean, that's the thing that Charles and I have had several conversations about. It's not that we're trying to lowball the market, but we got you have fixed costs, right? And you got to keep that
correct.
You got to keep
and
that moving.
I've vetted my drivers, I should say, well too. This is what you're going to make, because it's been the same for the last 6 years in a year. You're going to make a ton of money in a very short amount of time. So, and I'm a huge, you'll hear this out of my mouth constantly, I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan. I'm a huge cash flow. I'm a huge budgeter. So I try and instill that in my drivers of because you made $500 extra this week, that's not $500 extra. That's February's paycheck.
Yeah.
Whether they get it or not, that's not my thing. But you will make, and I've done the math, you'll make this much money every week all the way through the year. And it's maybe changed $3,000, $4,000 a year over the last 6 years since I started hiring drivers. But you've got to even it out, and that's the same for us. I mean, like we do the same thing with our money as the owner, but it's following that through of if you do this, you're fine. If not, you're gonna really hate your job in February or your not job.
Yeah, I know you tried to create like a Facebook group of people in the Dayton area. So we talked about this. I feel like we need to do something as a group with people that we know, like, and trust.
There's probably 5 or 6 guys that I run around with pretty close, with you guys included, of we all get along. We've all got each other's backs. There's another 5 or 6 guys I don't get along with that we know. And that, that goes back to don't have competitors, have affiliates. And I preach that all day long.
Right.
I do not have competitors. I have affiliates and I have non-affiliates. They're still not my competitors, but there's no point in competing for this. It's trash. There's always going to be trash. There's always going to be plenty of trash. Quit fighting for it.
I don't understand, and I know you dealt with it before, but how these people will just leave dumpsters and then they charge you when they don't pick them up. Mm-hmm. I joke with my customers all the time, and it always gets a laugh. It's like, because they'll call me 3 phone calls on Tuesday. Hey, you were supposed to pick up your dumpster. And we did like 35 tasks on Monday, which I was shocked. So we overbooked.
Sure.
But the people called me and said, hey, this dumpster's still sitting here. I'm like, listen, we're not going to charge you for it.
That's,
I'm like,
that's what they were asking. Am I getting charged for this?
Yeah, and then my standard line is, if I could charge for my laziness, I'd be a rich man.
Oh yeah,
which is true. I mean, but I'm like,
that's the question they're asking. They're saying, am I getting charged for this still sitting?
Yes. And after I say no, and we had, like yesterday, we had we got a flat tire at the transfer station, which maybe once a year we get a flat tire in the transfer station. It doesn't happen too often, which is one of the reasons I prefer to go there versus going to the landfill. But we were late picking one up yesterday, and a lady called. I'm like, no, we're not charging you. I just don't understand as a business model how people can do that. But I know you know people who are doing it too. Talk to us about software, but I want to hear from you what you're looking for when it comes to software, how much it runs your daily life, and where you think maybe the future of the software is.
Sure. So from my background, like we said, I was the OG from Docket. The guys that built it are local here, and they're Department of Defense contractors at the base, and they were bored. So they were like, we're trying to, blah, blah, blah. And I said, sure, yeah, let's do it. So we built it probably 6-8 months of just bumming around before we actually launched it. And then launched it. We ran 4 or 5 years maybe-ish before they sold out. Docket is, so to compare let's compare 2 or 3 here. Docket's the Cadillac. You will pay for the Cadillac or even the Bentley at that point. And they'll tell you that. I mean, they're very honest with it. I've been to several events with them. I've talked in depth with them. They know they're expensive. They know they've got a niche because of that, and they know people will pay for it. DRS is amazing to a certain degree. It is dated. They know it's dated. It has its time and place, and I'll never dog it because it does what it does well. There's nothing wrong with it. There's just parameters of what it's capable of doing. It's like an onion. You keep peeling and peeling, and there's more in there. There's so much in there. Your guys' is, from a different standpoint, is very simplified. It's very clean, easy, straightforward, and that's kind of the overlay. Now to look at that from the end user or the middle user, I guess I'm the middle user, the customer's the end user. I want something that I can fluently do in my sleep. Unfortunately, I'm still in the truck a lot of the time. You've seen already today, I'm glued to my tablet. You're glued to your tablet. That has to be easy for me. I need to be able to talk on the phone, chew gum, back a dumpster in, and load a order up at the same time, unfortunately, and make sure they're not a scammer.
Yeah.
So putting all that together, it has to be stupid simple. I'm not the most techie person. I'm probably one of the slower people to catch on.
You're more techy.
So,
you want to give yourself credit for
So
it.
it has to be simple. We cannot do, layer after layer after layer after layer. And same thing for my drivers. My drivers don't need to be a computer specialist to be able to run their app. That it has to be simple all the way around.
What percentage of your orders are online orders versus phone call orders?
I would wildly guess, I haven't run the numbers, I would say probably 10 to 90. I would say 10% of our orders are online. The rest of them I talk
You're
to
still
personally.
taking the phone calls and you're doing that.
Yeah.
Do you want that to change?
I don't want to lose the number of customer interactions I have on the phone. I want to double, if that makes sense. I don't want to take away from that. I want to double or quadruple our online orders, though. I think that's the future, is the automation of, you don't have to talk to me at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night. You can still order a dumpster. They're finding through YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I didn't even know that's a possibility. So that's where we need to look at growing into, is not just, can you book it online? How are they finding us online?
But that's a
you need
niche
the
market
salad
for
bar.
us, because we've dedicated the time, money, energy, and effort to getting ahead of, the TikTok moms who are looking for, giving us a call and, you got to call Pack Mule, So that's the way that we've done it. But I didn't know, especially if you're driving so much, and I know we'll have conversations about this more. I would strongly recommend, even with your commercial side though, that you are having people contact you more and ordering online more and incentivizing them, because, man, I mean, it happens to me once a week. I'll get a phone call and I'll call the guy back and like, oh, I already ordered with somebody else.
Yeah, and you're like, that was 30 seconds.
I know, but then you're all feeling that pressure because I know you're like, I want to win.
Yeah.
Damn it, I missed that one. But you can't be a slave to that phone the whole time.
Correct.
So that's why we do like the online. Well, we'll wrap up here. First off, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
fun.
It was good to actually sit down and meet you. Again, we've had long conversations. I appreciate all the
Likewise.
advice you've given us. It's really helped us grow. But now again, really, thank you. Sincerely,
Thanks
you.
for having
We
me. This is fun.
appreciate it. You can follow us at Packmule, www.packmuledumpsters.com. Also, BinBoss, mybinboss.com. Jump on there and book a demo with Charles.
Book a demo. It is well worth your time to at least figure out what it is, compare. They are very open with it. It is a great platform. It's going places. It doesn't hurt to look at it. They're going to be the least pushy out of anybody I've talked to as far as getting you on board with it, but definitely give them the time and the idea of it, and book that free demo. It's going to be your best time.
So you can follow us on our Facebook group. There'll be a link down below. We do encourage you to ask us some questions. We answer all questions. We answer all questions too on YouTube. So definitely follow us and leave comments.